True creativity is often stifled on the path to success by the need to streamline one's vision, creating a package more easily accepted by the masses. Kris Barman is a rare breed who chooses to play only by his rules, not following the roadmap set out by those before him, rather using his moral compass as a guide as he creates earth-shattering music defined solely by its sonic waves, not by genre or name. Today on COCINA Pirata Podcast, Kris and I sit down to discuss his newest release, WUKIWORLD, and how versatility has allowed him to find his vision in music.
Contra la muerte nosotros demandamos vida. Contra el silencio exigimos la palabra y el respeto. Contra el olvido, la memoria. Contra la humillación y el desprecio, la dignidad. Contra la opresión, la rebeldía. Contra la esclavitud, la libertad. Contra la imposición, la democracia, y contra el crimen, la justicia.
So we've already been talking a little bit about psychedelic journeys and self-healing.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I might have taken a little microdose before this.
That's fucking perfect, bro. That's beautiful.
I've been doing it a lot, actually, just like a little bit here and there.
How much are you microdosing when you microdose?
I guess I'm not really exact about it. I just have like a chocolate bar that I bought a while ago, and I just like nibble on it. So I don't know, just a little bit. It can't be too much.
Do you know when you get it? Is it dosed? Do you know what your like the quantity in each chocolate?
I don't really. I've had them ever since like I lived in LA like 3 or 4 years ago. I've just been freezing them. And so I just know at this point, like a little nibble will get me like just a little happy, you know?
Yeah.
I love it, man. It's like, I don't know, it makes me like excited about life. It's weird. It's like Adderall without being Adderall. And it's like, I don't know. I really think it's the future. I think if people start doing it more, it could really, I know it sounds corny as shit, but it could like really help society if we use it.
Yeah, I don't think that sounds corny at all. I mean, like what we were just talking about was I had a pretty fucking drastic life shift happen, and I had done the craziest thing about that journey to the hills of Oaxaca was that I had done a lot of psychedelics in my life, but I had never
get fucked up though.
Kind of. I mean, I did them with intention, but I was fucked up at the time. So it's like the intent was heal me. The intention wasn't like deep soul searching. This is obviously like the extreme of microdosing, but it wasn't like this deep soul searching that I went. I also did a month fast before I went to the mountains of only like a diet. I did essentially a raw diet, like vegetables, fruits, no salt, no sugar, no caffeine, no tobacco, nothing. And
no meat,
nothing. Or no eggs, no cheese,
no eggs,
that shit.
Wow.
And no caffeine, like only herbal tea. And then the entire day of the journey. And I did this on my own. I kind of went, you can go and see a shaman there, but because it's pretty commercialized, I kind of wanted to go on this mission myself. And so the day of, all I did was drink water. And at this point I had been sober for 2 years, dude. So I was like, and I had like all of that sober mind, like from going to AA and shit. I was a bit tweaked out, but it was the first time in my life have you smoked DMT?
No, I haven't. So it's like the one thing I want to do still.
DMT, you got to talk to Grigsby. I'm gonna get you in touch with Grigsby now that you're back in Denver.
I'm scared.
He's the link on that. Dude, the cool thing about it is, look, I was scared shitless the first time I did it, and I got scared out of my fucking mind on it. But the cool thing about it is it lasts 5 to 10 minutes.
Right. Yeah.
When you're in it, you can feel like it's not. But this journey in the mountains of Oaxaca was that for me. It was like a fucking crazy DMT trip. I saw a lot of colors. Like when I began, I like closed my eyes. I think I shared with you one time this guy Hayatel. He's a producer from Bristol, England, who's making like real trippy shit these days. And so I put on some headphones and like zoned out, and I saw Ganesh in neon colors, and I was like floating towards the body. And when I hit the chest of Ganesh, I skyrocketed like warp speed in Star Trek through stars.
Some smoking DMT or
no, this was the mushrooms. This was the
mushrooms.
This was more intense than fucking DMT had ever been in the past, which was crazy. And so, and then I just floated in blackness for like 2 hours. And that was kind of my lesson, because when I came out of it, I was like, felt so alone. I was in the mountain in the middle of nowhere alone in Oaxaca. No one knew where I was because I didn't want to tell anybody that I was going on this mission after 2 years of sobriety to like find myself. And it's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah. And you were saying it helps it, like now you still can have like a little beer here and there, and you don't like, kind of, you're not like straight edge.
Yeah. Like everything changed about perspective. I guess people talk about having life-changing psychedelic experiences. And really for me, it was like the life-changing was in the lesson, in what I learned I needed to do. And then my life started to change when I started to do those things. So I needed to communicate with human beings more and not make myself a fucking island. And when I started to do that, I was like, fucking great, good to go. And of course I need to practice restraint, but I think that's where my lack of restraint came from.
I think it's cool to hear that perspective because, you mostly hear about people that basically just like, like it's a disease. Like I can't ever have a beer again. So I think it's like cool that you don't have to do it that way. And like, you could still have a little bit here and there. Kind of makes me think of this dude, this book, that Johann Hari. You ever hear of him? Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah. He wrote a book. I forget what the book is called, but he would say that the opposite of addiction is connection, and that's like that's why people turn to drugs, is because they don't have, they're like missing something in their life, so they fill it. So like you could like do all these like AA things, all these things, but until you actually like fix that problem, it's still always going to kind of be there. So it kind of sounds like you did that. Like you moved to Mexico, you found your purpose, you became a chef, or you were always a chef, but like you started a restaurant, found an awesome girl, you got a fucking kid. It's like, yeah, honestly, dude, different Travis from when we were hanging out in Denver, dude. It's pretty crazy.
Travis, it's funny. I mean, look, I'm super happy that Travis existed, because if that Travis didn't exist, I never would have met you.
Yeah, that's true.
But that Travis was lost. And one of the reasons that I was lost was because I had cooked, like I started in the kitchen when I was 13 years old, and I ran away from it a bit. Like I snowboarded, and that got me out of my hometown, and I was still cooking. But one of the reasons I ran away from it is because of what it has it's become more like that now, but it just became this contest, and that's not really what I wanted it to be. And that's not where I connected with it. And so that's when I met you, was when I was like not cooking for 4 years, and I was just floating. And the only thing that I could think to do was like sell drugs and hang out with musicians and party.
I mean, to be honest too, man, I mean, whatever, we had our faults during that time, but like, dude, you kept me going during that time. I mean, that was a hard time for me. Like my old band had just broke up. I didn't really know what the WUKI project was going to be. And I just moved to Denver because Courtney, my girlfriend, she was like, let's go to Denver. I was like, okay, I've always loved Denver. And like you kind of really helped me, like even though it was like, you know, looking back to like small shows and stuff, but like it, like having that, like, just like that attitude to like keep grinding, and like the next show, the next thing, the next EP, and like having a manager to work with, like it really, honestly, like no joke, it like really helped me keep going. And I don't say this lightly. I don't think I would be where I am without those few, that year where we were like kind of like just doing dumb shit. Honestly, looking back, like just grinding. I think like keeping that like grind alive, like really, really helped me keep going. So
I appreciate the word, man.
Yeah.
But for me, it was just, I think that one of the things that benefited me in that time away from cooking was being around creative human beings. I need that. Clearly I'm a creative human being and I wasn't getting out. And like, I was so inspired by what you guys were doing, just that connection. I did whatever the fuck I could at the time to try to make that work, which is probably like,
I know. Yeah. You used to do crazy shit. And I mean, we just used to drive up to the mountains for a day, come back just for like a stupid show for like $200 or something. And it's like, looking back, like those are the fucking fun times. I mean, now that like everything's shut down, it's like, I wish I could go do that stuff. You know? I
mean, dude, look at, and really congratulations to you for keeping the dream alive, because you, I mean, I understand it takes a little bit of push, but I remember the first time that I met you at a show, and then you were like, yo, come check out my studio. And I went to your studio, and your studio at the time was like on fucking Broadway, in the middle of nowhere, essentially. Right.
Yeah, it was like a meth house.
But dude, that was the moment that I was like, I want to fuck with this dude, because like,
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
What everybody else was saying to me at the time. And I think that the other cool thing is that you've separated yourself from your past a little bit as far as bands go. You haven't tried to bleed that. You haven't tried to bleed that dry, which is cool, because that's what a lot of people say. They're like, oh, fuck your party system, da, 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 da. And you were like, no, I'm done. I'm doing my fucking thing. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to create. And you always, I mean, dude, the shit that you made in those days, I love the shit you're making now. Absolutely. Yeah. But what you were doing then, like, I was fucking blown away. I remember listening to some of those recordings and being like, dude, what the fuck is going on? Playing for 50 people in the fucking Bluebird, dude.
Yeah. Like, it's just so crazy to think back. Yeah. I mean,
I was thinking about this the other day, like even that, you know, like, you don't really talk too much about your name, like the meaning of your name, do you? Is it somewhere like
people definitely ask a lot. I never have like a really good answer. I mean, what did I say back then? I guess I don't even remember what I would say.
I think that at least when I met you, I think that your music explained it a little bit, because you were connected to your Indian roots. And so you had that like Bhangra Booty and in those albums when I heard this tech house, that smashing tech house, but just, I mean, you're just hanging on. I mean, I don't think there was ever a real firm definition, but just that you're connected to your roots.
Yeah, it had like multiple meanings. Honestly, it's kind of like why I went for it, because it's like low key kind of confusing. Because it's like, wait, Wookiee Star Wars, but then like you look up how it's spelled, and it's like all these kind of like brown people talking in a different language, and so wait, Wookiee's a name. So I wanted it to sound kind of like ethnic. I wanted it to sound like a name. I wanted it to be familiar. I didn't even really know what I was doing when I came up with it. I was like, just sounds right. I don't know. And just went with it. I needed a name for some release I had that was like a piggyback off a inner party system thing. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to like go with this. Dude, I had so many names. I was like going to be Elastic Eye. I remember there's so many stupid things like, but I'm really glad I went with Wookiee. I think it was a good choice.
I mean, you could still drop an Elastic Eye remix.
I still get like Facebook alerts cause I still have the Facebook like domain, and I still get like the emails. I don't know how to even stop them. I still like get it. Yeah.
That's awesome though. I love that shit. Do you feel like you came up with the name before? So the name wasn't even tied to any of that like Bhangra Booty, and what were those other albums that you did on in the
Acha, Buffalo Bass. That was main course shit. Yo, speaking of main course, fucking they were like never like legit. They never put their shit on like Spotify and stuff.
Yeah.
I finally got a royalty payment from them. And it's like really good.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah. I hit up Mar. I still talk to Mar like all the time, by the way. You should have Mar on.
I know. I wrote him actually. I was texting back and forth with him, and he's like in Alaska. Cool. I'm back. I'm gonna get him for sure. I love that dude to death.
Yeah, he's the shit. I love Mar so much, but yeah, they finally like got their shit together and they have some royalty payments going out. And I was like, I texted Mar, I was like, yo, what the fuck? This is so helpful right now.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah.
I really respect another fucking few dudes who just said fuck the system and started doing their own shit, and really like Mar. That project was beautiful, and that shit was really good at breaking artists. I think for you it was in that time. 4B, another one that was like started out on main course, who's fucking crushing it. There was another chick. I don't know if it was a one-hit wonder, if she's still around. Caper.
Oh, she's like a scratch DJ. She's on Twitch and yeah, she's crushing it. She kind of like always had her own thing going.
I just rapped out with Danny also Johnson.
Oh, nice. Self-help. He had like a side project or something. What
it was called Love Tax.
Love Tap.
And now he's doing another one. He's just in the pocket, dude. I mean, he's an old school DJ. Is he
still in New York?
Still in New York. And what he was doing was crushing the little like neighborhood scenes. But he's just been producing. So now he's dropping some new shit.
Cool.
He didn't really get into the Twitch thing too much. I guess he's just staying locked in the.
Yeah, it's not for everyone. I mean, I think like me and my world of fans, like the EDM fans, they definitely like, I don't know. They've really like migrated there because when the quarantine first hit, everyone was doing it. Everyone moved there, and there's definitely like, I don't think it's going to go away either. So now there's all these little like, pockets of EDM Twitch kids that also like to watch DJ sets and, so it's kind of cool. I think even when shows come back, it's still going to exist. And what's really cool is like guys like Craze and like Four Color Zach, who are like legitimate fucking like scratch DJs. They're perfect for Twitch. Like, cause that's the kind of shit you want to just like chill out while you're cooking and like have like fucking Craze DJ for you, That's pretty fucking cool. You don't necessarily want to hear like dubstep womp 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 all day, like while you're cooking, but like,
do you see that would have been a natural transition in electro? Do you think that would have happened without COVID?
I don't think it would have. No, I think a lot of these people just found it because of COVID, which I mean, it's just been hard, but there has been some silver linings. I think like my brother doesn't go into an office anymore ever.
That's
for his job, which is like, yeah, why? If you don't have to go in an office, why the fuck would you go into an office? I used to say that before COVID.
Yeah.
Like just save the money. Everyone save their time. Fucking close your office and just work from home, bro.
Especially working on a computer. It's fucking crazy that people go into the office and sit in a cubicle and work on a computer. It makes
wear a fucking tie. Like get the fuck out of here, man. Fuck. Humans are not meant to do that shit. And you kind of like figured that shit out because also it exists in music kind of the same way. No, but for electronic producers, it's a little bit easier to like stay at home and do it from home because you left for Denver before COVID. Right. Like when COVID hit, I saw the writing on the wall in LA and I was like, no way. Yeah. Once they extended it 2 more weeks, I was like, fuck this. And LA, I think just because there's so many people, it's just like the fear was crazy. I mean, I was just there. It's still, I mean, I don't know if it's good or bad. I don't want to get like political, but like you could smell the fear there. You could see it. It's like people are still like more scared there. I don't know. Where it's like I come back to Denver and it's like my neighbor doesn't wear a mask ever. He's like, what's up? It's the same in Mexico. In Mexico, it's off the wall. Like nothing matters here. Yeah. No one gives a shit. And look, I got it. And I got it too. I got it. Yeah. You said you got it too. No. Yeah. I got it bad. I got it bad, but I think it's because I was so worn. I was like super fucking worn out. Mm-hmm. Which obviously is not ideal for the illness. My wife, who was pregnant, got it and was like not as affected. She definitely felt some effects, but wasn't crushed by it. It's crazy.
What was your experience?
It was honestly, it's pretty bad. I could see why it's a problem. Like it definitely is like bad. And I think all like the social distancing, wearing a mask, keeping your hands clean and all that stuff. I think that's like really good. We do need to do that shit. So, because I was really scared that like my dad would get it. He's pretty old. And, yeah, it's pretty bad. It was like, definitely like number one, like some of the worst body ache I ever had, like in my life. Like I remember my shoulders just feeling so shitty. Like, oh, like I wanted to crawl out of my skin. And then the other thing is like the phlegm in my chest was like, it was pretty bad. Like I remember like it feeling like more sticky. Yeah. I know that sounds gross, but like stickier than like a regular sinus infection. Like it was like harder to get out.
I was on the same tip.
It's definitely no joke. I could see it being a problem for an older person.
I had exactly the same strain as you. I had that shit. I was coughing up brown. It was gnarly.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely not fun, man.
And I think that there's enough. There's a way for us to. I think there was a lot of pandemonium. I think there would have been a lot of. I think probably the majority of human beings are going to get it. I think there's probably a better way that we could have handled it. But like my takeaway from the entire thing was like, even if I didn't want to wear a mask, that was okay. I just wasn't going to get around other people. You know what I mean? I was going to keep other people in mind.
Especially anyone vulnerable.
Exactly. I knew I wasn't doing it. I knew I was doing it like I wasn't wearing a mask for myself. I was wearing a mask for other people, if that makes any sense. In a
right. No, yeah, that's what they said in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need more of that shit, man. You know what I mean?
So I have a feeling we're going to be kind of living with it for a bit. Like it's going to be like a seasonal thing.
I just saw fucking England talking about like the summertime being back. Do you have anything booked? Have you got reached out to about bookings anywhere? I don't know if you can say anything, but.
Yeah. I mean, one is announced. I'm going to be in Cabo. I'm going to be right next to you, bro.
When is that?
May something.
I won't be there yet, but I'll hook you up with some people down there. That's crazy. And it's like a show. It's like a festival.
Yeah. It's kind of like a festival. It's kind of not. It's basically this company, Relentless Beats, that does like pretty cool, like festival type things in Arizona. They're doing like a getaway thing in Cabo. And it's not really a festival, but it's like 3 pool parties and 3 club nights for the weekend. So it's like a bunch of people going to the same stuff. And yeah, I don't know.
Sick.
It's going to be cool. Yeah, I'm excited. I've never been to Cabo, so me and Courtney are going to stay for a bit.
It's pretty it's pretty ritzy down there, but it's incredible. That whole, if you get some time, like try to dip to the Sea of Cortez. The Sea of Cortez is fucking nuts, dude.
Okay. Yeah. I want to see that. Yeah, actually, you should hit me with some other things to peep. I was thinking about going to like the, what do you call it? Like the Mayan ruins and shit. Like
there's no ruins in Baja.
I would just, since I'm down there, I would just fly more.
Huge,
like and go
for sure
somewhere else.
Come to fucking Oaxaca, bro. Come to Puerto Escondido and check your boy out. You got a place to stay.
Okay. Yeah. Fuck it. Well, I want to see like the Machu Picchu. Is that what it's called? Yeah.
No, there's Machu Picchu. So in Mexico City. You've been to Mexico City, no?
Yes, I fucking love Mexico City.
And did you go to the ruins there in Mexico City?
No, I'm a loser. Just like, well, I mean, we did a lot of stuff in Mexico City, so I'm not a loser, but I didn't venture outside really. There's
so much shit to do there. I have not been to the ruins in Mexico City.
Well, actually, that was the weekend when like COVID was coming. Like I remember we were in Mexico City. It was like literally like a year ago, like just exactly a year ago. And this is when like COVID was like budding. And like, I remember seeing in like the first case in Mexico City when we were there, and we were scared. We were like, oh fuck, are we going to get fucking stuck here? So like the fear was setting in, and we wanted to go home and make sure we're home. And that was actually the last fucking show I did.
That's crazy.
Like real show.
EDC was the EDC?
EDC Mexico. Yeah.
So in Mexico City, it's interesting. Inside Mexico City, there's Templo Mayor, which I have been to because it's in Centro. Essentially, they found this, I think it was in the 80s. They didn't find this shit until the 80s, but when the Spanish came, they destroyed a Mayan temple and built a church out of the church that's standing there now has the stones from it. And in the 80s, they were like reworking some viaducts and found right next to this church, the fucking Mayan ruin. So there you can walk around in town. And then there's Teotihuacan, which I have not been to, which is outside. You can take like a bus.
Dude, I went to Templo Mayor.
Yeah,
I went to Templo.
Yeah. So you've been to, but if you get outside, you can see the real shit. The cool thing is, so like the really incredible ones for me are in Chiapas and Oaxaca. In Oaxaca, you have Monte Alban, which is pretty close to the city. It's like a 15-20 minute bus ride, and you can just go and pay and get in and walk around super untouched. In Chiapas, there's many in Chiapas, but the easy one to access is Palenque, and it was one of the biggest civilizations at the time. They had running water, and the reason they exist more in the south of Mexico is the south of Mexico was pretty untouched there was still some colonization, but because the places were so remote, they were pretty separated from the Spanish colonization. And the Spanish during the conquest were looking to get to Mexico City and conquer and get all the gold. So there's still a lot of cool shit in the south of Mexico. Really, you can spend I've been living in Mexico now for 3 years. I've been coming to Mexico since 2015, at least 2 or 3 times a year before I moved here. And I haven't even cracked the surface. So you definitely should explore when you can.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to be honest. It's, I'm just like Googling everything you're saying. It looks really cool.
I'll send you a list.
Yeah, please. Yeah, I want to do it.
So are you feeling happy to be back in Colorado? This is a big change. It looks like you got a sick fucking studio set up there. You're able to crush it. Congratulations on the first. This is the first album.
Yeah, this is my first album. Yeah, debut album. Sick. It's like but yeah, I mean, I'm so happy in Colorado. I love Colorado ever since we used to tour here a bunch, my old band. I have so much space here. I own a little house here.
Yeah.
So I could I got if I turn the camera around, you just see all my shit over here.
You're in the basement.
Yeah, I'm in the basement. I could spread out. I mean, in LA, me and Courtney were in a 1-bedroom.
Yeah, remember I helped you move into that bitch. You had you built it was you had did you build it out in that little closet, or did you end up?
Yeah, yeah, I was literally making music in a closet, in a big walk-in closet. And shout out my girlfriend for letting me use the walk-in closet. That's crazy.
Yes, she's a killer. That's rad. But think about the coolest thing to me is that I really love the way you produce. I don't know if everybody's producing this way, but I really love the way you produce. The quality of your production for being from your bedroom and not feeling the necessity to go into a studio to make shit happen, and really just being comfortable in your space has created some incredible shit. No? Do you find you need this type of setup to be creative, to really crack through your creative?
I mean, I've gotten pretty good, man. I could work anywhere. Really all I need is decent headphones and my laptop. And I think a really good producer should be adaptable. You shouldn't have to have this piece of gear or this whatever. You should really just be able to do anything, anywhere. That's going to make you the best producer. Yeah. And that makes you, versatile. I could go into this studio with my laptop, fucking crush a session, make a beat for this guy right here. Or I could come home and have all my comforts and my big ass speakers. And I mean, obviously that's this is my setup, but really I try to be as versatile as I can at these days, because I'm all about speed, try to make things fast, try to make things, the right way from the beginning. That was kind of been not my downfall, but I would mix the wrong way a lot of time. There's no right way, but I would over compress from the beginning, and it wouldn't sound good if you take the compression off. So now I try to do everything just the same way every time, simple. And I guess it just comes with doing it a lot. So,
That's the other thing, about having it at home. I find I've had this conversation over the past. I did one with. Do you remember YG, the hip hop artist that I worked with? I did one with him.
You did a podcast with him?
Yeah,
no way.
He's like that, not YG, like YG.
Oh.
YG, the hip hop artist from Denver.
Oh,
WHYGEE. I don't think you ever did a show with him, but he's like an OG dude from Denver. He was hanging him in. For me, it's the most. He makes the most incredible hip hop music, but like it's like 90s hip hop. It's fucking incredible, like Mobb Deep type.
Really?
90s hip hop music, even a little bit mellower sometimes, but OG shit. And he just maybe it's the wrong era, but people seem to he's just there doing his thing. He's just there smoking weed and making music. But with him and Marshall and Danny, we all had this conversation just about putting the time in and being like soldiers of the game. Yeah. And like, in cooking, for example, and I know it exists in music as well. You have a lot of people now who either go to culinary school for 3 years and get out and call themselves chef or start a restaurant, or you have people popping up on YouTube who've never worked in a restaurant who are now apparently chefs, and you don't get the same longevity. You don't have the tools, like you're saying, to do. Just repetition is what's important. And that's one thing that I've always seen you doing is like you never got into the cool guy scene, really. You kind of just stay in the pocket and create, no? And like,
yeah, I definitely don't, man. I mean, I think I just like care about like real shit, like real musicians. Like there's a lot of people that just kind of come on the scene and like will blow up fast or whatever. But I mean, that's cool. I'm never like mad that anyone blows up, because I do think that like there's success for anyone that wants to find it. You have to find your own success. It's no one's ever like stealing your spot or anything. I think that's a shitty attitude. So yeah, I mean, I've just always kind of like stayed in my own pocket, done my own thing. Yeah. And kind of like what you were saying, I don't think anything can like replace actual experience. And that's kind of something that us old heads have on all these young people. And like, yeah, just like knowledge. I mean, I pretty much, I could say I know like almost like everyone in the dance music industry. So I think like that is also really helpful. Like, I could just like DM people my song. It's definitely way more effective. Like,
and also like you'll be here when the apocalypse comes. Like when those kids bow out, you'll still, like, regardless, you're not doing this. I mean, of course it's your livelihood, so you're doing it to make money, but that's not really why you're out here doing it, because there's a lot of avenues that you could go down that would make you a lot more money with the experience that you have. Correct?
Yeah. I mean, I could probably get a job at a label or something, but I don't want to do that. Yeah. I mean, it's not a fad for me. I generally just like love weird ass shit. I love being able to produce and like create a world. I love dance music. I'll never stop loving it. So it's not really like, it's not a fad for me. And I think that this, our time right now, like this, whatever era we're in with the social media and everything, it's like, everything is so fatty. It's like, things will like, everyone's talking about the same thing every 2 weeks, and it's weird. So it's like, it's really important to be on your own like vibe, like on your own ship, because that's the one thing that'll like never go out of style, is like you building your own thing, and then people will attract to it. I mean, I see people chasing everything, and it's like, I think it is really transparent. So I like to just kind of, do my own thing.
Do you remember the moment when because I guess the inner party system was a bit dancey. Were you a dance music head when you started, or did you start in? How did the passion start?
No, I was like a rock kid, dude. I grew up playing guitar with my brother. I started playing guitar because my brother did, and yeah, I mean, I would like practice Green Day songs and like, like it's kind of embarrassing, but like Creed and Bush. Like I would like play those songs. Like I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like that shit.
Bro, I know the words
And
to those songs.
Alice in Chains. Alice in Chains is a cooler one. Like I liked Alice in Chains. I liked, and then I kind of got into like the more like hardcore shit, like Dillinger, the Red Chord, and like just like, Between the Buried and Me, stuff like that.
I haven't heard Dillinger Escape Plan in quite some time.
Yeah, I used to love them. Like math rock, like really like people that would shred. I'd be like, that's fucking sick, and then kind of evolved, then it was like that and like emo at the same time. I was pretty into like Jimmy Eat World and like Get Up Kids and stuff like that. Not like Linkin Park emo. I was never a Linkin Park person. I kind of like disliked them, to be honest.
I did.
I'd like, yeah. And then from like the emo stuff, I kind of got into, then the Prodigy kind of like turned me on to dance music because they were like heavier.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this could be really cool. And then like Chemical Brothers getting more into psychedelics.
Yeah.
And then like Daft Punk. I was like, oh my God, I love Daft Punk. Cause they were like kind of emo-y, like kind of dance. I mean, not emo, but like their song Digital Love. I mean, that's a fucking emo song. I don't care what anybody says.
For sure. Absolutely.
And then from there, and then like Justice came out. And like when Justice came out, I was like, holy shit, this is the fucking coolest shit I've ever heard in my life. So I was like, I want to do this. And then that's kind of like the same time we were doing Inner Party System. So like Inner Party System, we always wanted to be like Justice, like that cool, but we never really we kind of like always stayed in that like band world. People kind of put us in like goth territory, but I never looked at us as goth, but whatever, other people did. And then, ever since then, I've just been like dance music fiend, following everything.
Because you were doing you were doing some programming with Inner Party System as well. Some like electronic type.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well.
I would like make beats then and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, Justice, that was me. That was the shit that got me into electronic music. And still, like, I'm a fanboy. Like like they were playing at Coachella and I was like, I'm out. I'm done. I'm done. I'm leaving the booth at this time because I need to go see this, and stood like dead center in front of the soundboard and was like, don't fucking talk to me. I'm watching this shit. It's incredible.
Dude, that album is still one of the best dance records of all time. I don't care what anybody says. I think their albums after that were not nearly as good, and they just fucking are the shit.
No, but that album they're fucking rock stars, dude. That was a rock star fucking album. I've seen them. You know where I saw that? I saw them at Red Rocks, and
that was probably sick.
It was, but it was during a festival that used to happen there. I want to say it was
Global
called
Dance.
No, it was another one. It was like Monolith Festival or something like that. It was actually an indie
real early
festival.
Oh, okay.
This was way back, and the sound quality was shit. Compared to, because I before that I had seen them in a smaller venue, and like they just smash heads in a smaller venue. It's really fun.
Yeah. I saw them in a club the first time. I didn't even know who they were. And I saw them in a club in this, like, how there used to be like dance parties in like cities, like,
yeah,
like every 2 weeks there were like known dance parties, like Boys and Girls in New York and Making Time in Philadelphia. I went to Making Time, and it was like, I didn't even know what the fuck it was, but it was like the loudest thing I ever heard. I was like, what is this? And I was just like freaking out. It was so awesome, dude. Yeah. That was such a good time for dance music. That's when it like really, really started coming to America. Like a lot of people give like Skrillex, which he definitely like deserves a lot for bringing dance music to America. But like it really kind of started with that time period, like Justice, the Bloghouse dudes, like Steve Aoki. Even though Steve Aoki is like different now, it was kind of like his Dim Mak was like a huge part of that.
Yeah, I went to that show. Dim Mak I've listened to for a while. There were some dudes that I brought out for a show back in the day, actually the Villains, who made this incredible Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah.
So I asked them to come out. That was
Yeah, I
they're not
know.
even together anymore. They were like some OG DJs, but
Yeah.
I feel like
I feel like they're doing things now. A lot of those guys that like move on and like have like another project or work like A&R for some label or something, you know, they're still doing
I'm pretty
shit.
sure one of those dudes works as an A. I'm pretty sure that's what happened with them.
Mhm.
I feel like during that time too, one of the things that transitioned me, I was like snowboarding at the time and I was hanging out with a bunch of Euro dudes and I was listening to like the Klaxons and Block Party.
Mhm.
And I think that
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of helped me transition into electronic music too. Does that shit exist anymore? Does that like genre or style of music even exist anymore?
It's definitely not as popular, that's for sure. I mean, I'm sure there's little pockets of everything. Like, I don't even really know. I mean, there's so much fucking music, man. Like,
How do you consume these days? Like, how do you consume music these days?
dude, I mean, I have a hard enough time just keeping up with my promo box, just people coming, like hitting me up, like that shit that just comes right into my inbox. But then I also, you know, I'll check like the Spotify Mint playlists, which I don't love, but I just like to keep up to date with like what's popular. That has gone down such a weird hole. Like, I think house music is still really, really strong right now. Like, my friends are, I'm actually like really good friends with these guys, Side Piece, who are nominated for a Grammy this year. They're like fucking crushing it. They're like one of the bigger dance acts right now.
I don't think I've heard of them. Are they from the US?
Yeah. It's just my friend Dylan and my friend Ricky.
That shit. Side B.
Yeah. They have a song with Diplo called On My Mind. You probably heard it. It's fucking huge. And I'm actually on the same management as them too. So like, they're like my boys. And I think house music never goes away, man. And it really is just like, it's kind of like the beating heart of dance music. Like it kind of started with house music. All these other genres kind of come and go, dubstep, rhythm, trap, whatever, future, fuck. But like house is just always house, you know, like it's undeniable. And like, it kind of like, it has the most mass appeal to like your mom will like house music if it's a good house song, you know what I mean? Cause it's just like a dancey beat. So like,
it seems like it's always there. It seems like it's always there.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's never going away.
It's like you said, it's like the training. It not only is it the training wheels, but it's also the shit that like, look, I'm a cheesy motherfucker, dude. So, so you can put on some fucking, any of that shit, any of that fucking, I'll even do, you know, Swedish House Mafia, that kind of stuff.
Like the big room stuff.
Yeah, there's some like I'm into big room. I'm into some
Yeah.
big room shit. I'm not too cool to say I'm into some big room shit. But
I mean, there's a time and a place for literally every kind of music. That's what I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about the digital era of music, I think, you know.
Yeah.
I've talked a lot about with these guys about like the OG, especially with Marshall, who's like really hung on to that. He's keeping the 90s alive, and I fucking love that because I think
they're like doing like a 90s nostalgic project almost. It's
you
cool.
got to check out that new album though. That new album is beautiful. It's like a really cool departure, and he's actually talked about how his life changed over the past year. Like he himself consciously changed who he was as a human being, and you can really hear it in the album. So, but for me,
Teenage Wrist is really Marshall's baby, or is it Marshall and Cam really?
Teenage Wrist is, well, they're not together anymore. Cam left. They started it together, and then Cam left, and now it's him and Anthony, who is the drummer. And then I think that when they play live, I guess they haven't really played live since Cam left, but they play live with a band. But there was a big evolution. And I think that the influence for that band, at least from my perspective, was Swing. Did you listen to his project Swing Hero ever?
Yeah, for sure.
There was only like, he only did like 3 or 4 tracks, and that was Marshall's baby since the 303 days. And you can hear a lot of influence. I mean, that was like Smashing Pumpkins era type shit and angsty. And this new stuff was a little bit, I guess it was a little bit less angsty. But what I was saying was that so I think we need shit like that. I think we need like the 90s nostalgia. We need people that hang on to it. And then the cool thing about electronic music is just the evolution and the ability, like you, to play in so many fucking different realms of music. Like your shit is evolving constantly now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so there's like two kinds of dance music artists. There's like the very focused kind of like, I just do house music kind of guy. I just do dubstep kind of guy. But then there's kind of like the multi-genre guys. Like there's me, Valentino Khan, my friend Nitty Gritty. You know, there's a few of us that we just like, we'll do anything. My sound is me. It's not necessarily like a genre.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit of like a harder road, honestly. And I have like fans, or not fans, but like aspiring producers asking me this sometimes. And I don't know. I think you just kind of like need to decide what you really want to do. I mean, for me, it just made sense because I don't really want to be pigeonholed into one thing. And I like to use genres as like tools, kind of like if I get like writer's block, I'll be like, all right, I'm going to try and make a dubstep song today just to see what happens. I don't know what comes out. I think that like being able to have that versatility, like it really works for me. So I don't get like stuck in a hole ever. Like if I had to just make house music every day for my project, it could almost start seeming like, I don't know. I could see that being, you hit a lot of writer's block. So I don't know. The way I work, it just really made sense to just like keep evolving. I almost like try to make genres up as I go. So like, I mean, just like no boxes. So that's, I like to just kind of like do whatever the fuck I want.
Is it different?
I'm making like a speedcore song right now with Little Texas.
Sick. Yeah, that dude's fucking crazy, man.
I love Little Texas.
When you go into making a project though, do you choose like this project that's coming out now? When you go into making a project, are you specific about what your intention is, or do you just kind of flow and find out what the fuck's going on?
So yeah, with this album, I definitely wanted to be like, I wanted to like hit like a lot of different genres. I have like a trap song, I have a house song, I have like a twerk song with Juvenile. Did you see that? I have a song with fucking Juvenile, dude.
I fucking love that shit. Me and Grimsby put on a Juvenile show up in
Brooklyn. I know, yeah. I remember you telling me that.
Sick, dude.
Yeah. He's actually really cool.
I hope live music comes back so you can do that shit live.
Yeah, dude, he was planning to come to EDC Vegas, and yeah, it's a bummer. But
it'll happen.
Maybe this year it'll happen. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I definitely consciously, I wanted to hit a bunch of different genres with this project for sure.
And do you look for, like, for example, I kind of think the same way about cooking. You know, I have a tasting menu project now. So essentially like what I'm doing is taking people on a journey, and I don't even think about, people ask what my food is and I just tell them it's my food. People want an answer. Yeah. You know, people are like, is it French food? Is it Mexican food? Is it fusion food? Is it fucking Japanese food?
Right.
And I feel that I have like a toolkit that I've picked up of techniques, and then I have ideas that come together. And for sure, there's a line of continuity through each one of the dishes that makes it mine, but it's not specific to any genres. Do you feel like when you create an album that's kind of how you sew the whole thing together?
Dude, that's honestly exactly like that. And I've actually made that analogy, like that making music is a lot like cooking, to be honest. Like you can use like classic ingredients and like classic techniques, but then you have to like kind of like put your own twist on it to make it something new and exciting. And I've literally had this thought like a lot, like it's a lot of the same shit. And then like, you know, salt and pepper is like the mastering, like just like a little bit. You don't want to do a lot, just like a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of parallels between cooking and making music, to be honest.
Do you find yourself like, What was the Owsla album that came out?
Framework EP.
Do you find that was a big departure?
Yeah.
That was a big evolution. Do you find yourself going back like to that, or even back further to like the more Indian influenced music ever?
No,
or currently?
I don't think so. I think that was just kind of like a phase. And it kind of like, I think now I'm pretty defined on what I'm going to do. It's kind of like this like bouncy booty music type thing that like everything's fun. I mean, I don't know. Do you see my Instagram reels? Like, yeah, like, so like that kind of stuff, like the mashup kind of like funny shit.
Yeah.
Like almost like being a meme DJ.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what keeps me really excited right now. And like, I like to sample a lot. I like to kind of like use vocals a lot. So I think now more than ever, I'm probably like the WUKI project is like that sound. So like, I don't think I'll change too much from now, to be honest.
I love that shit, because I think we did like that Bluebird show, and it was like very focused, and the idea was very focused, and the set was very focused. And then I went like, maybe it was 5 years later or 4 years later, to Academy, and I watched you play in Academy and drop like the hustle,
so much different
track. And I was like, this shit is fucking, everyone's wild about it. And to me, it seems like that shit lends itself really well to live shows too. Like, is that where the inspiration came from? And do you miss that? I mean, like you must, what's the feeling of DJing to a scene, for example, versus the room, when like what you do is so, I can tell that you fucking love the hit when everybody's like, what the fuck? How did you
dude, I mean, I miss it so much. Obviously I miss playing in front of a crowd so much. It's kind of a head fuck when you really think about it, like that, like you're kind of like given this like weird power, like you raise your hands and everyone raises your hands. It's like, it's almost like some weird tribal thing where it's like, I think I'm like the leader of the tribe or something. And but back to kind of what you said is like, I do like live shows definitely did influence the way I produced. Like I would kind of be like a feedback, like one of my biggest songs, Da 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 Da, was literally like, I had the idea because I was playing a live show and I played an edit of that song, and I realized that you could like, I was like, oh shit, I could just loop that right there and bring in another beat. That would be cool. And like, I literally just had that idea, and then so I just wanted to make that edit for live. And so I did that, and then it ends up being like one of my biggest fucking songs ever. Dude, have you seen the Beat Saber viral videos of it?
No, I've seen some shit that you
God.
post that people like. There's a lot of people doing crazy fucking dances and shit to it, but I haven't seen like specifically.
Dude, I'm gonna send you something. There's this kid on TikTok. I love TikTok, by the way. Fucking 35-year-old dude that loves TikTok. But there's this kid who plays this game, Beat Saber. It's like a VR game. Dude, where you have like
that shit is fucking insane. And
oh my God, I'm gonna send you this video. You're gonna freak out.
How the fuck do you play that game? Where do you get that game?
So get a Quest. Honestly, one of the best video game like things I ever bought is a Quest 2. It's a standalone VR. Like you don't need a computer or anything. You just wear it.
Okay.
And it's like really legit. It's fucking good. It's only like $300 or something. And it's one of the new ones. It's sick. And you get that game. And somebody mapped my song Da 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 on Beat Saber. And it is the most ridiculous shit you'll ever see. It's like, I mean, you just got to see it. I'll send it to you. So anyway, this kid like,
you can screen share that shit. Do you have it on your computer? Give me like 10 seconds of it right now.
All right. I can like figure out how to. Oh man. TikTok, LS Toast. Da 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 da. It's got to be on there somewhere.
I think you can click screen share here in Zoom.
Yeah. I just got to find it. But so anyway, this kid, he makes these fucking TikToks of him just playing Beat Saber. And he it's like made the song go viral like a million fucking times.
That's crazy.
He posts like one a month of da 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 da. Like he posts every day, but then he does like a da 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 one.
You can do it to any song, or do you have to program it specifically?
They have to program it specifically. So like somebody programmed this song. I think this might be it. Hold up. Nope. Hold up. I'll find it. But yeah, anyway, that has gone viral like a million times on TikTok, and people have made dances to it. It's like, it's fucking nuts. I don't know.
Now that because we were talking about live shows, and that was like the bread and butter, no? Like that's how you brought home the bacon, so to speak. How does this transition now, especially because it's not traditional? I saw you now you're signed to a label, right? So you that label sign, but it's not the same as, for example, when you were in a band. Now, do you just sit around and wait on royalty checks? Do you guys get paid for the Twitch live streams, or what do you like? What can you do? Because I see a lot of people talking specifically in my industry about the effects it's had, but I haven't seen a ton of conversation, and maybe because I'm just not in the right circles, about what's happening to live music.
Well, so I'm pretty lucky. I mean, I was obviously I was nominated for a Grammy for a remix.
Yes.
So like that has helped me.
I did not say that yet. Congratulations.
So much. Thank you, man. So that I'm basically like, remixing is like my job now. You know, I mean, I did three remixes this year, and it basically like pays for my whole year. You know, I'm good. Yeah. So like my rate has gone up quite a bit because of that. So like I'm one of the lucky ones, to be honest. Like I'm lucky. I had my time to play shows. I saved money. I bought a house. I have fucking, you know, I have tons of music. I have a huge catalog. I've gotten syncs. I've gotten, you know, royalties. I probably make decent amount every 3 or 4 months from BMI. So like I'm chilling pretty good. Like I'm not one of the ones, and plus like I'm Indian. So like my dad taught me how to be decent with my money, and like I've saved, I've done stocks, and like, so like I'm good. I like, me personally, I'm not that worried ever, but like, fucking, so what I really worry about right now is like the industry in a whole, like fucking a lot of these small clubs are closing. Yeah. Because they don't have any revenue. And like, those are the ones that need to take a risk to bring out smaller DJs to start having a career. So like, if that like ground level shit isn't there, like, I'm afraid that it's going to be like the same fucking 100 DJs playing festivals for the next 5 years, which, I mean, I'm lucky. I'm like kind of one of those guys. But like, I don't know. It's going to be harder now. It really is. And it's kind of like for a lot of these kids. I mean, I was talking to I'm friends with all these guys that are like kind of just, they were going to have huge years and they got fucking wrecked, you know? And like they, you know, it's kind of like a penny pinching game now. It's like, oh yeah, I make like $300 off Twitch a month. I try to sell merch. I try to sell my song on Bandcamp. You know, it's like, it's all these like little things that they could kind of like pinch together. And it's tough. I don't know. It's, I mean, the world is changing, and I think, I don't know, there's a lot of new technologies that are going to help with kids right now. I mean, do you know about like this NFT stuff that's happening right now?
No. What is that?
Oh man, this is, dude, you want to fucking like go into a hole learning about a new way of consuming art. Look up NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Literally everyone in the music industry and art industry is talking about this right now. Like these guys, it kind of, well, it's a crypto thing. It's built off Ethereum. Okay. The cryptocurrency. Yeah. And it's like, basically it's like a way of tokenizing or minting a piece of art. And it's like, dude, like these guys like Beeple have been doing it forever. This guy Ferocious, he's like, they're selling shit for like millions of dollars. and now musicians are kind of jumping on right now. It's definitely like, it's happening right now. It's the new wave. It's fucking crazy. So like there's some talks right now that might be like kind of the new way for artists to kind of like take control of their shit, because to be honest, like labels own fucking everything, and you sign to a label, you sign your masters away, most of them. I mean, if you don't have a lawyer that covers your ass, and then like that goes away, and it's like, you're really just an artist at the bottom trying to like scrape together pennies. So it's tough. I don't know. You have to be really creative and really outstanding to fucking make. Here, do you hear that? Do you hear that? No?
Hold on, let me turn my shit up.
Oh, okay. Well, it would have been really loud. Hold on. I found the video, I think. Hold up. Let me watch this for a second.
Okay.
You could edit it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Edit
right,
what?
Yeah, this is
the video? I don't know how to fucking edit. Just put it in there, bro. Look, we're doing the first, like, this is the third one. So if we fuck up, we're going to do this again. We're going to do
whatever, it doesn't matter.
Person.
Let's see. How do I share screen? Share screen. Make sure. Oh, host disabled participant screen sharing. I could just send you the link. You can open it.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, I just realized I'm recording on Audacity. I was recording through my fucking computer microphone. So hopefully the Zoom recording is through
the shit. Okay.
But I think the Zoom recording
should probably be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here, open that link on your screen if you can.
All right.
Or whatever. I mean, that's not that important. It's just some kid playing Beat
Saber.
No,
it is, bro. This is important to me. I need to see this shit. We'll need to see this shit. Here we go. If I do share. All right.
There you go.
Can you full screen this bitch?
I don't know.
We might not be able
I don't know if the sound will be there either. Well, just hit play and see what happens. So you got to turn the sound on too, maybe.
Here we go.
There you go.
Come on now.
Are you clicking it?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. You're a boomer, dude. You're a kid. You're a boomer now.
Can you see? Are you seeing my screen?
I do. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, it's not playing for some reason.
We'll put it in the show notes.
All right, whatever. Yeah.
So people can see it, and I'm gonna watch it when we get off. But we were talking about just getting back, the crusher of you were talking about this thing about like the same 100 DJs. That is, I never even thought about that, but that's fucking super real.
Yeah.
I mean, the way people broke through, but is there a, how do I say this? Is there like an ecosystem online in Twitch for people to come on board and play group shows? Like, is there anybody doing a WUKI show with an open, like a nobody opener, for example, where you're doing those things together?
Actually, yeah, my friend Jim Gesture, also is kind of like same level as me kind of guy. And he has a label and he does like little festivals, online festivals, where he just puts on a lot of like younger or smaller DJs, whatever. Doesn't necessarily mean younger. So yeah, there's some of that. And I in a way, like Twitch has opened up some doors and like leveled the playing field in some ways, but I don't know. It's hard. It's just so much different. And I think it's hard for people to kind of like gather a fan base right now. Cause I don't know. I mean, there's something about like seeing live music. Like no one really wants to watch a DJ on a screen. It's just because we have to right now. But like when you can win someone over live, like they will be a diehard fan then. It's like, holy shit, that show was the best show I've ever seen. And they're like, the emotion that could come through with that is like, I mean, you just don't get that from Twitch ever or whatever streaming platform. It's just the fucking truth. You don't, like, no one's mind is going to be blown on a Twitch stream.
A lot of, I think what those live shows did, that this computer revolution or evolution that's happening right now, is that it can, like, when you went out to see somebody play, generally the people that were playing under them, you would never even look up, or you would never look for them. And the same thing happens. Like, the thing is that when it's online, those people just get lost in the ether of the ecosystem of the internet, and they will never have a chance unless they can break through on those things. And then again, like you said, no one really wants to watch this shit online. So if they're tuning in to a show, are they going to tune in I mean, I know if I'm watching, for example, a UFC fight, which I like to watch, I'm going to tune in for like the last 3 fights, even if I pay for the fucking thing, because I want to watch those 3 fights. It's the way we consume everything now. No, we consume albums that way. Albums we consume as singles. We don't have them in our hands. So it's like we can pick and choose what we want. And so, like, hopefully this shit comes back, man. You know, hopefully.
Well, I really think it is. I mean, my booking agent's saying, like, you know, it's time, like, people are really opening up. Arizona just opened up, Texas, Florida. I mean, people criticize them, but, you know, California has been shut down for a whole year and they have the same death per capita rate as like Florida, who's been open the whole time. So, like, I don't know. I don't think there's any right way. What I get kind of upset about is like the constant shaming of, I think there's 2, like, there's the guys that are being like kind of irresponsible out there, just like playing every show possible that like kind of look shitty. But then I think also the people shaming on the other side of the spectrum is also kind of shitty, because like, you don't know what they're doing. Maybe they have to provide for their family, their mom, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's got a different situation. And like, I've seen this trope online for like DJs, like, oh, poor DJ has to get a real job now. It's like, dude, I'm fucking 35 years old. Like, let's just say I didn't have this house. Let's say I didn't make money. And like, I was literally just like grinding from the very beginning. It's like, dude, I put my entire life into this moment and it got ripped away from me. And you want me to go work at Amazon? Like, fuck you, man. Like, I'm not going to do that. And like, I don't know, maybe that sounds privileged, but like, I don't.
No, not at all. Like, people look at what and it's a super interesting perspective, because this is like one of the reasons why the digital age fucking sucks and is good. It sucked before, because if you were like in my line of work or your line of work, if you were a creative, it was like, you're probably not going to make it, and you're probably going to have to get a job when you're 35 because it's not that cool. And people didn't connect with that. People that didn't understand that didn't connect with the fact that we cannot do anything else. There's nothing else that we can do. There's nothing else that we want to do. And even so now flash forward to it being cool to be a creative, and everybody's a fucking creative. Well, now guys who are sitting in the pocket and who have worked really hard, who maybe they weren't good at hashtagging, or maybe they weren't good at putting content together for the digital spectrum, are now getting looked at, you know, for taking a gig or taking a job working as a cook in a restaurant or whatever the fuck it is, as taking a step down in a level. But the reality is that it's where we live. And you're right. You can't just go get a fucking job. And it's not privileged to say that either. It should be you've earned from the time you've put in the ability to do what you do and get paid to do what you do. And for that to be stripped away and say that now all of a sudden we're responsible and we need to go work jobs that will get the economy back up and running because what we do isn't important. Essential.
Dude, I heard somebody talk about that term, like essential worker, which is like, I mean, it's basically kind of like saying anyone who's not an essential worker is like, what you do is not essential. Like, it's actually kind of fucked up. It's a weird like mind trick that like, oh, I'm not essential. I guess what I do doesn't matter. And like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like I don't know. It's kind of a fucked up thing to do to people. Like,
well, exactly. Because look, I've been hearing a lot of screams from the food service industry, and I'll tell, like,
I feel terrible for the food industry.
The food service industry was fucked. This is the reality of the situation. And I'll give it to you quickly so that I don't have to drain your energy.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of know, but let me hear your perspective.
So if you look at the structure, my grandfather owned a restaurant. So I grew up in a restaurant, and I've worked in a ton of different kinds of restaurants before I opened my own. In my restaurant, I've figured out, I want to cook food. I don't want to walk around with a chef coat on with my name on it and a clipboard and not fucking do anything, which eats up a big portion of most restaurants' ability to, or their financials. So if a restaurant is existing, for example, what they were crying about when they shut down was that they're on 30-day terms with food purveyors. Well, if they're a restaurant who's winning awards, best restaurant in the world, for example, how the fuck is that even possible unless you've eaten at every restaurant in the world? A, and B, it's perspective. So it's like saying the best song in the world, for example. But what happened when everything shut down was these guys, because it was becoming cool, and because they had these awards under their belts, and because it's a fucking a brotherhood, so to speak, of people in lineages that are being successful, they were over investing in businesses, and a lot of the businesses weren't making money. They were surviving on 5 to 10% margins. Well, is that the responsibility? Yeah. Is that the responsibility of the people who eat there, or is that the responsibility of the person who runs the business? They are not running on proper margins because they're trying too hard to be accepted. So the error that I believe happened, and this is why it's interesting that people will call themselves artists in the food scene, but still change their menu to appease the neighborhood so that they can make money in the end. Because what you do is you create, right? Like, you're an artist, you create. And when you create, you don't really think about, of course, a little bit you think about what are people going to do, but really where your creation comes from is from your heart and from your mind, and you're trying to create yourself as an artist. And so if you're calling yourself an artist and you're calling what you're doing crucial to the environment of human beings, why are we continuing to blame the consumer for making us not earn money? We should be more intelligent about what we should do, and we should also be educating consumers about what we do. So for example, the pay scale in a restaurant in Los Angeles, if you're an executive chef, you're probably making $80,000 to $100,000 a year in a good restaurant. Your line cooks are probably making $15 an hour. So you're not cooking. So the fact that when everything shuts down and you can't pay your cooks and you can't pay your 30-day past due food bill or the liquor bill that you've got on credit, but you're driving an S series Audi and you're living in a house in the Hollywood Hills and continuing to take your $80,000 paycheck, where the fuck is the problem? And no one, and everybody's talking about restaurants being the problem and that it's fucked that we're losing this. I don't see the same efforts going out to people like you who are creating things at home. I don't see people complaining about losing the arts and losing the music from this thing, and it is true. We're all equal. There is no essential. Everything is essential. Everything that we consume is essential. Your music to me is essential because when I listen to it, I can connect to you, and I need that in my life. I need music. So to me, it is essential. Yeah.
No, I agree. I mean, I used to kind of think like what I do is like so vapid or whatever, like this, there's people like, solving, real problems out there in the world. And like, well, I'm just like making beep boops on my computer. But like when you play a show and like you see it connect with people and like how fucking happy it makes people, like, man, that shit is so inspiring. It's like, holy shit, I guess like what I'm doing really matters. Like it really feels like that. And I think it is essential. I think we need those things in our life. I really do. I mean, I miss it. I miss going to shows so much. Next festival I go to, I'm staying out all fucking night, bro. I'm not going home.
Tell me when you play. No, yeah. I really believe this, but you want to know what people think is essential? Anything that's inside a capitalist system is essential. Anything that keeps making money for a very few people and keeps those very few people happy is essential, and it will continue to be essential. But music,
I mean, it's crazy that like like In-N-Out. I mean, I love In-N-Out, but like the In-N-Out that opened in Colorado spread COVID around. Like there was like a big story that spread COVID. It's like they're allowed to stay open, but like mom and pop restaurants have to fucking close.
Yeah.
Like,
and when
fuck.
And one of the most difficult things for me is that when you hear, for example, there's like an independent restaurant coalition and all these people talk, they talk about the bill that they're trying to pass being for the small restaurants. Well, if you look at the fucking bill, if you read it, the cap is like $10 million. Who the fuck needs $10 million? And why do you need $10 million to pull yourself out of a hole? If you were in a profitable business, you should have been fine. If not, and you just need to pay rent, here's a couple $100,000. But the reason the 10 million cap is there is so they can give money to fucking McDonald's or any of these big brands really without repercussion, and say that they're part of the beating heart of America and that's where people get their first job. Well, fuck you, bro. Maybe the system is broken and maybe we should dish out some of that money to people who are making music and who can bring joy. This is the thing. Like, I don't fucking cook anymore because I want to make, I know I need to make money. I know I need to. So I have to play. I cook because I want to fucking take care of people, because it's a fundamental right of human beings to be served something that the person who's serving them knows is healthful and good for the environment and good for the community. This is the same fucking thing with music. This is why music is important, because we need to be fed. And I guess, probably the capitalist machine doesn't really listen to music. So maybe that's why it doesn't really fucking work.
I mean, yeah, it's like, I mean, they do though. And it's like the individuals do, but it's like, there is this like weird mentality that like, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I guess it's like people don't want to really acknowledge it, and like because it's kind of like it makes you look vulnerable a little bit, that it's like we need these like kind of like fluffy things in our life too, because we're really at the heart of it, we're all just like still children, kind of. And like we all like, you need to have fun times in your life, you really do, or else things could look really bleak. And then if nobody's, like it, like inspiration is so undervalued. Like how many, like people might just start a business or have a good idea because they were in a good mood, and you might be in a good mood because you listen to a good song or something, it's like, so like, I think, I don't know. We got to think of all these aspects of life. And actually I do think that like our generation is going to be more inclined to these things because we're like talking about this shit. We're having these conversations. I think we starting to value like real things instead of, just like making money for the sake of making money. Like that's kind of like, I mean, I was like trading stocks for a bit and it was just like so soul sucking. It's like, what am I doing? I don't want to fucking like look at numbers all day. I want to make music. Like I want to do fun things. This is not fun to me. And I don't know really where I'm going, kind of going on a tangent.
No, I think that one of like, I just thought when you were saying like just the connection and being kids and that fun, like music got me through some of my fucking hardest times in my childhood, throughout life in general. And I never really realized like that 2-year stretch that I got sober. I went to Coachella 2 years in a row. Like I cooked at Coachella. I got invited to Coachella 2 years in a row. I saw you one of those years. And I remember like the first year I went there, it was Porter Robinson and Madion's like last shows together. And I had never been to an electronic show, not fucked up. And I stood in the crowd. I cried, dude. And that's when I realized this shit is real. Like, yes, kids are fucked up. And yes, kids are getting high on drugs. And yes, that's part of the scene. But also what's happening is fucking life changing. And what they're doing, like what you're doing, even just seeing you, for example, in Coachella, in the middle of a fucking field, standing there, having a brief interaction. That's the kind of shit that it brings together. It brings humanity together. And it's one of the most important things that we can possibly do is bring happiness and humanity together. No?
I totally agree, man. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know, bro.
I think we solved the fucking world's problems tonight, brother.
I mean, it's corny, but it's really like people just need more love. Like you need to just come from love, understanding.
Yeah. Well, I think that we'll get back there soon. And I think that hopefully you'll be playing live again soon and I can come see you.
I think it's coming.
Can you, I guess that after the rant, we've been doing this for like an hour and a half now. We'll clap out because I'm sure we'll come back to this someday. I really appreciate it.
Man.
Let me know real quick some final words and what's coming up and what for people to look forward to. And I'll put all your links and stuff like that in the show notes.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, so I have an album coming out. It's dropping March 12th. It's going to be my first album coming out on Hard Records. And then other than that, I stream on Twitch. It's at WUKIWORLD on Twitch. I'm on all the socials at WUKI, WUKI. And yeah, I mean, I'm pretty responsive. If anyone wants to come talk to me, just hit me up. And and then after that, I have a bunch more shit planned. I got some hip hop, got some fucking EPs. I've just been writing all quarantine. So I got tons of music and just going to keep going after it, keep playing shows and grinding, bro.
Sick, brother. Stick around for like 2 seconds after here, but thank you so much. I really appreciate you spending the time to catch up. It was beautiful to reconnect with you in this way. I'm so happy to see you crushing.
You too, man. Happy for you.
All right.
Congrats.
Thanks, brother.